Hey there, welcome to Bottles to Consider. I'm back. We're going to look at a bottle today. It's actually a thermos, hot liquid container that really surprised me a little bit. And I don't think I really expected I was going to find much of a use for this one in my day to day life, but turned out I did. This is the Yeti Rambler 20-ounce tumbler with what they call the Magslider Lid. You can buy, I think, different lids. I'll double check that. But this seems to be the most common one. And what they mean by Magslider, which of course we're going to get into, is this mechanism seems to have some sort of It's just awkward because I'm holding it awkwardly. There you go. It's not as hard as I just made it look, but there's some magnetic component in there, giving it that little, keeping it pretty secure one way or the other in there. You can also see the lid is see-through, which I think is great. But anyway, let's kind of take a step back and look at this big picture for a sec. And actually, before we get too much farther in, I want to just say that this bottle, there is a sort of caveat, which is that this exact tumbler is no longer for sale in quite this form. And I don't mean to be doing a bait and switch, and I wouldn't be reviewing this in this case, except that I think a lot of the fundamentals in this are still available, are still true in the newest generation. And so I think you can get a great sense of if you're going to like the newer generation. It just has a slightly different form factor. The lid's the same, the size is the same. And then in fact, if you get one size bigger than this is 20 ounces. If you go up, I think, to the 24 or the 30, then physically it looks the same. It has this sort of taper and then a real bump out, kind of classic to go shape. So let's get into it. First thing that struck me about this bottle was just its simplicity, especially in its steel coat, stainless steel finish. It just feels like what you see is doing construction. But it seems like it's kind of like one monolithic piece of stainless steel. It's stainless steel on the inside. And then the lid itself is pretty simple too. And so it just feels like, compared to, say the clean canteen piece, that we looked at, which one of its pros was that it had like lots of pieces and mechanisms that kept it really leak proof and cleanable. This is really like just a solid feeling piece of plastic. Something I love about it is that this lid, it has a sort of rubber ring around here that keeps it pretty leak proof, but it's not a leak proof mug. Not at all. Don't think it is. I mean, if you put it in your bag upright and don't move things around, it'll be pretty leak proof, but this is like a stay at home, sit in your car mug. And that's the real takeaway from this review. This is a great mug if it's not having to move many locations. I think if I was going on a road trip, I would love to be sipping from this or have it as your office mug. And so why do I say it's a great sit-down mug? What makes it good? One thing I was saying that I really love, the lid's clear, which is just surprisingly nice as you're sipping away at some drink to really be able to see how much liquid there is. You don't have to kind of do that shake. Am I out of coffee? Am I about to be out? Okay, I guess I have enough coffee right now, I think. You can just see it in there. The lid's nice. I personally find the sipping ergonomics with the lid and this mag slider to be a little, I mean, you can't see, but it's bumping my nose a little right there. Let's see if there's a way you can see. No, there's no way you can see. But what I loved about this mug, because, I think something that always comes up for me is that often these mugs keep coffee too hot. And for the first 20 minutes, I want the lid totally off to cool down. And what's really nice about this, and this is where it shined, and this is why I'm still using it just around my apartment, like on the weekends, is if you pop the lid off, because this lid has these like rings, and that's how it locks in, there's no threading anywhere to be found. So it's just a really smooth, simple drinking, vessel. This feels like a complete cup on its own, which is cool. And then, as things start to cool down, you throw this on. And then that keeps it a little bit more at that temperature. Now, this is not like a performance mug, I would say. This is a casual mug. Especially when this lid is open, you will lose heat. This is not one of these mugs that it's going to stay hot for like all day. It will lose heat. And it could leak. But the just simplicity and the form and the pleasantness of sipping from it is like, why would I use just like a regular coffee mug at my house where my coffee's going to get cold in like 1 minute? When sipping from this with the lid off feels just like a nice stainless steel tall mug. It's very pleasant. And if you're getting the 20 ounce from Yeti now, it has a sort of more single slope, kind of tapered cylinder. And I mean, you can see the links in the description. It doesn't have this hard taper and then hard notch up. It's just kind of a gentle curve. I don't see why that would be a deal breaker or why it would be much better. I think it's a little thinner looking and feeling, which is nice, but that's the only difference. And then if you jump up, like I was saying, you can get this exact shape holding like the mega, amounts. So I think they all could be great. Again, my real takeaway is it's a great sort of sedentary, casual daily use mug. Have it in your office. Have it at your house. It'll keep things warmer than a coffee cup, but it'll be more comfortable than a lot of your like performance to-go mugs. If you just want one to do everything, I wouldn't recommend it because to me, you should just get something spill-proof some way. But if you're open to having kind of 1 or 2 or 3 mugs for the different, types of sipping you do in your life, I think this could be a great fit. So yeah, worth checking out. If you have any thoughts, questions, or comments, please write them down below. And otherwise, please like and subscribe. Let me know if there are any particular cups or mugs you'd really love to get a deep dive in. And I'll see you next time. All right.